Good morning, people. Good morning to the world from a dusty India. Yep, that's how we start our morning, with a lot of dust and a lot of noise pollution. We do honk a lot. Honking is our way of communicating with other drivers and riders on the road. We honk and we let them know our location on the road, and that's how everybody drives and rides in harmony. Today in this video of course we have to start our video with exposing the bad driver. I don't know which lane he's gonna go, man. What you doing, bro? This big massive vehicle you got, and you're just disturbing the flow of entire traffic in your lane. What the fuck? Anyways, I am kinda used to it, so I'm not gonna let these people get on my nerves, even though I know eventually they would. But anyways, I was saying that today in this video I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the suspension settings that I keep on my Himalayan 450. Not only that, I would also talk about the seat height option. Which one do I prefer to ride at? It changes the entire posture and it changes the entire feel of the Himalayan 450 by changing the suspension and by changing the seat height too. So in order to give you a context, my height is 5'8" and that's the height of an average Indian rider or driver on the road. Look at him. That's bad driver number one. That's his number plate right there. And I don't know where he thinks he's gonna go, overtaking a motorcycle. So currently my preload is adjusted to the 6th notch on my rear suspension, and that's the highest setting that you can have on your suspension in Himalayan 450. And my seat height is currently at, I think it's 845 or 855, I'm not too sure, but it's at the highest. And at the end of the video I would also park my motorcycle and I would show you my suspension settings, and I would also show you my seat height setting too. But let me tell you first, why do I prefer to ride with these settings. So initially when I got my motorcycle from the dealership, the rear suspension was adjusted to the middle notch, the 3rd notch, and I had my sister with me and we had some luggage too on the day of the delivery. And when we took the delivery, my sister was sitting behind me with the luggage and everything, and I felt like the front end of the motorcycle was a little higher, and I felt like the maneuverability of the motorcycle was not that good. It was more of like a laid back and cruiser kind of feel that I got on the day of the delivery from this motorcycle. But when we got home and I changed the suspension settings, that's another driver. Holy shit, man, I can't stick to the topic because it's a lot of bad traffic on the road. I'm sorry. So yeah, I was saying that when I got back home I changed the suspension settings according to my taste, and I did not adjust the sag with the measurement and everything. I went by playing with the settings. So on the first day I changed the setting to the 4th notch on the rear suspension, and to me it felt like the motorcycle was responding a lot to the bumps. It was smoother in terms of the jumps that I was getting from the road. It was not stiffer, it was softer, and I felt like every big bump was kind of making me feel like I'm on a rocking chair, if you know what I mean. No doubt it was smooth and it was enjoyable, but it was not fun according to my taste, because I like the handling on my motorcycle to be a little aggressive, you know, in order to cut through the traffic and in order to make sharp twists. I needed my motorcycle to respond to me with a little bit of stiffness on the suspension end. And when my settings were on 4th or on the 5th notch, I felt like my motorcycle was a bit too bumpy. And when I switched to the 6th notch on my suspension, my motorcycle was sharp. It was sharp, but my seat height at that time was at the lowest because I'm not a tall rider, and I was getting used to the motorcycle. I was new to it. It's heavy a little bit, and it's kind of tall, so you need to be able to make sure that you have your feet on the ground when you're stopping in the traffic or when you have a pillion rider sitting behind you. So that's why my seat height was at the lowest, because I was gaining the confidence in riding the motorcycle. And when my seat height was at the lowest, I felt like I was sitting in the motorcycle instead of sitting on the motorcycle, and that makes a whole lot of difference in the riding posture too. So right now my seat height is at the maximum, and when my seat height is at the maximum and my suspension setting is also at the 6th notch, the stiffer notch, I feel like I have more control on my motorcycle. I feel like I can ride it like a street bike. At the same time, I can ride it like a dirt bike and like a off-roading adventure motorcycle. And one of the biggest reason why I chose the 6th notch is because if you're riding with a pillion, your motorcycle, it's just gonna be so saggy. It's just gonna be so damped, if you know what I mean. And the front end would feel like it's in the air, and you would lose all that control that you have on the motorcycle in order to cut through the traffic and in order to absorb the bumps. So when my motorcycle is at 6th notch and I have a pillion sitting behind me, and we also have a bit of gear and luggage, man, it just feels fantastic. On the other notches, it felt like a little bit too saggy, like I'm in the mud or something, if you know what I mean. So try with the suspension setting according to your taste and your height and your weight. And yes, it's a little bit of trade-off that you gotta do, but if you are confident, and you must be confident when you're riding a Himalayan 450, because it's a big motorcycle and that's why maybe you chose to purchase it. But if you're one of the few who purchased a middle cc engine as your first motorcycle, this is what I would suggest you do. You ride your motorcycle with your rear suspension set to the 3rd notch and your seat height set to the lowest, and once you've gained the confidence in the motorcycle, you are going to enjoy more if you have your suspension setting set to the highest notch and your seat height set to the highest as well. Hey Spotty, how you doing? Laddie, Milky. So you're gonna enjoy the motorcycle more, and you would not need to worry about changing the suspension setting if you have a pillion with you or not. So you can't just keep on switching between the 3rd notch and the 6th notch. If you have a pillion, you're gonna go to the 6th. If you don't have a pillion, you're gonna go to the 3rd. That's just not, for me, according to me, that's just not reliable. So this is what I would suggest you do, that ride it in the 6th. Yes, you're gonna lose a little bit of grip on the ground with your feet because your motorcycle is a bit too taller. With the rear suspension, it's not gonna sag too much when you're sitting on the motorcycle, and your seat height is at the maximum too, so you're always gonna be tiptoed on the ground when you're parked in the traffic. But other than that, man, you're gonna feel like you are in control of the motorcycle and not the other way. So let me quickly show you the settings that I have on my suspension, and let me also show you the seat height that I ride my motorcycle at. So that's the rear seat and that's the front seat. So it should be written here somewhere. It's not written here. But yeah, you can see these rubber thingy. It's locked in the highest seat height position, and so does the front one too. not the other way around, and that's giving me more of like I'm riding on the motorcycle instead of riding in the motorcycle. So that was the seat height. And hang on, what the fuck, why? I'm sorry, I'm rushing for the video, that's why it's not locking in properly, I believe. Give me a second, don't rush, baby. Because my front seat is not adjusted properly. Hang on, there you go, it should lock in now. Boom. And now let me show you the suspension, the rear suspension. So as you can see, this one is at the 6th height right now, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these notches are free, and I'm currently riding in the 6th one. So that's the highest setting that you can go on your suspension. If you want, I can make a detailed video on how to adjust these settings, how to change these settings, and I can make a in-depth detailed video about the suspensions and the seat height changing and all that DIY kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments down below if you really need that. Otherwise, I think I just explained which settings would be best if you are 5'8" and 68 to 70 kg guy or girl riding the Himalayan 450. And if you really want to enjoy these motorcycles, these are the settings that I would really suggest you try. Alrighty, let's get to farming now. Over and out.